The morning started like any other morning in Seoul. General Han stood on his apartment balcony, drinking coffee and watching the sunrise paint the city in orange and gold. His wife was making breakfast. His two daughters were getting ready for school. Everything was normal. Everything was peaceful. Then the sky tore open. Massive ships appeared above the city. They were bigger than mountains, black as night, and covered in lights that pulsed like angry red hearts. Han dropped his coffee cup. It shattered on the balcony floor, but he did not notice. He could only stare at the alien vessels that blocked out the sun. The attack began without warning. Beams of white-hot energy fell from the ships like rain. Buildings exploded. Streets melted. People ran screaming in every direction, but there was nowhere to hide. The world burned. Han grabbed his family and ran for the basement. The building shook. The walls cracked. His younger daughter was crying. His wife held both girls tight. "It will be okay," she said, but her eyes told a different story. "I have to go," Han said. His military training kicked in automatically. "I have to get to the command center." "No," his wife begged, "stay with us." He kissed each of them. "I love you, stay here, stay safe." Those were the last words he ever spoke to them. Han reached the underground military command center 2 hours later. The journey should have taken 15 minutes. Seoul was gone, not damaged, not destroyed. Gone. Where buildings once stood, there were only smoking craters. The sky was black with ash. Inside the command center, Admiral stood before a massive display screen. His face was gray. His hands shook as he pointed to the red markers appearing all over the world map. New York, London, Tokyo, Beijing, Moscow, Mumbai, every major city said. His voice was hollow. "They are hitting everything at once." "Who are they?" someone asked. "We do not know," replied. "They did not try to communicate, they just started killing us." Han watched the numbers update on the screen. Dead 400 million, dead 700 million, dead 1.2 billion. The count kept rising. Each number was a person. Each person had a family. Each family was being erased from existence. "What are our orders?" Han asked. "Survive," said. "That is all we can do now." But Captain had different ideas. She was a fighter pilot, small and fierce, with a reputation for breaking rules. She stood up from her console and grabbed her helmet. "Where are you going?" her commander asked. "To fight," she said simply. "You will die," he told her. "We are already dying," she shot back. "At least let me die shooting." 12 pilots followed her to the hangars. 12 brave souls who decided to fly into hell. Their jets launched into the ash-filled sky, tiny specks against the massive alien warships. The enemy did not even seem to notice them at first. The alien ships continued their bombardment, methodical and merciless. Squadron opened fire. Their missiles struck the dark hull of the nearest ship and exploded harmlessly against invisible shields. "Shields are too strong," her wingman reported. "We cannot penetrate." But watched carefully, she noticed something. When the enemy ship fired its weapons, the shields flickered, just for a moment, less than a second, but it was enough. "Focus on one ship," she ordered. "Wait until it fires, then shoot immediately at the same spot." They tried it. The alien vessel charged its weapons. The shields weakened, fired. Her missile slipped through and struck the hull. The ship shuddered. "It worked," someone shouted. They pressed the attack, hit and run. Wait for the flicker, strike in that split second. 3 more hits, 4, 5. Suddenly, the alien ship's side erupted in flames. It began to list sideways, trailing smoke. But the victory cost them. The other alien ships turned their attention to the fighters. Energy beams lanced through the sky. One by one, squadron died. Bright explosions marked where her friends used to be. Only made it back to base. Her jet was barely flying, held together by hope and luck. When she climbed out of the cockpit, her hands were shaking so badly she could not remove her helmet. Han had to help her. "You found a weakness," he said. I found 12 graves, she replied, tears cutting tracks through the ash on her face. Deep underground, in a research facility beneath the mountains, Dr. Bora studied pieces of alien technology that had fallen from the damaged ship. She was a quantum physicist, more comfortable with equations than warfare. But war had come to her, so she adapted. The alien technology was incredible. It operated on principles Earth science barely understood. But Bora was brilliant and she was angry. Anger could be useful fuel. This metal should not exist, she told her team. It is folded through quantum space. That is why our weapons pass through it. Can we copy it? Her assistant asked. Maybe, Bora said. Give me time. Time was the one thing they did not have. The alien ships pulled back after 3 days, but everyone knew they would return. The attack had been a test, a demonstration of power. The aliens were saying, "We can destroy you whenever we want." The death toll stopped rising at 2.3 billion, more than 2 billion human beings gone in 72 hours. Earth's population cut by nearly a third. Entire cities were radiation-scorched wastelands. Entire nations had ceased to exist. Han stood in the ruins of Seoul searching for his family. He found his building. Or rather, he found the crater where his building used to be. There was nothing left. No bodies to bury, no closure to find, just absence. Admiral found him there, standing at the edge of the crater. "They want to promote you," said quietly. "Supreme Commander of all Earth forces." "Why?" Han asked. His voice sounded dead even to himself. "Because you have nothing left to lose," replied. "That makes you the most dangerous man on Earth." Han looked up at the sky. The alien ships were gone, but he could still see them in his mind. He thought about his daughters, his wife, the billions of others who died screaming while the aliens watched from orbit. "They think we are broken," Han said. "We are broken," replied. "No," Han turned to face him. Something cold and hard had settled in his chest where his heart used to be. Broken things can be reforged. Broken things can become weapons. He walked away from the crater, away from his past, toward something new, something terrible. The aliens had struck first. They thought it was the end of the war. They were wrong. It was only the beginning. 6 months passed. Earth learned to live underground like rats hiding from hawks. 4 billion survivors crowded into tunnels and caverns, into repurposed mines and subway systems. The sky belonged to the enemy now, so humans dug deeper into the earth. General Han walked through one of the underground cities. Children played in cramped spaces lit by artificial lights. They had never seen real sunlight. They were born into a world at war, and they knew nothing else. This made him both sad and angry. The anger was useful. Han kept it close, fed it carefully, let it burn cold and steady in his chest. "Supreme Commander," a voice called. It was Commander Jin, head of the Special Weapons Division. He was young for his position, but talent mattered more than age now. "Dr. Bora wants to show you something." They descended deeper into the mountain, past security checkpoints, past armed guards who saluted as Han passed, into the heart of Earth's last hope. Dr. Bora stood before a sleek black ship. It was small, built for speed rather than carrying capacity, and it was almost invisible. Han could see it, but his eyes wanted to slide away from it to look at anything else. "We call it a ghost ship," Bora explained. Her eyes were bright with excitement. 6 months ago she had been a university professor. Now she designed weapons. War changed everyone. "We use the alien phase-shifting technology. The ship exists slightly outside normal space. Sensors cannot see it. Eyes cannot focus on it." "Can it fight?" Han asked. That was all that mattered. "It can kill," Bora replied. She pressed a button. A panel opened in the ghost ship's side, revealing weapons that hummed with barely contained power. "We took their plasma cannons and made them better, more efficient, more deadly." Engineer Haewon stepped forward. She was older than Bora, with practical hands and a mind for making things work. "We have also improved their quantum drives," she said. "We can travel faster than they can. We can appear where they do not expect us." Han circled the ghost ship slowly. "How many can we build?" "With current resources, maybe 50 by year's end," Hay-1 said. "Not enough," Han said. "We need hundreds, thousands." "Then we need more resources," Commander Jin said. "The enemy has mining operations in the outer solar system, automated facilities, lightly defended." Han smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "Then we will take them." Captain trained the new pilots. She was harder on them than anyone thought necessary, but she had her reasons. She had watched 11 friends die in the ash-filled sky. She would not watch more die because they were unprepared. "Again," she barked as a young pilot failed to execute a combat role properly. "You are too slow, too predictable. The enemy will kill you in seconds." "I am trying my best," the pilot protested. "Your best is not good enough," snapped. "Your best gets you killed. I need better than your best. I need perfection." She worked them until they could barely stand. Then she worked them more. She taught them every trick she knew, how to exploit the enemy's shield timing, how to fly in ways that broke all the rules, how to survive when survival seemed impossible. Colonel ran the ground forces training in another section of the underground complex. He was a mountain of a man, and hard, who had survived the Seoul bombardment by being in a basement when his entire base was vaporized. He trained soldiers for a different kind of war. "The enemy will come back," he told his troops. "When they do, we must be ready to fight them on the ground, in the cities, in the tunnels, everywhere." He taught them to fight dirty, to use the enemy's size against them, to strike from shadows and disappear before retaliation came. There was no honor in this kind of war, only survival. Deep in another facility, Agent Sung underwent surgery. They cut his face, changed his bone structure, altered his appearance. When he woke up, he looked like one of a species the aliens had conquered decades ago. "Why are we doing this?" Sung asked, staring at his new face in the mirror. "Because we need information," Han explained. "The enemy controls dozens of worlds, subjugates dozens of species. You will infiltrate their territory, learn their secrets, find their weaknesses." "I might not come back," Sung said. "None of us might come back," Han replied, "but we will take them with us." 3 months later, the first ghost ship slipped out of Earth's shadow. Commander Na was at the controls, her hands steady despite her racing heart. This was it, the first strike back, the first blow in humanity's revenge. The alien mining facility hung in the darkness of the asteroid belt. Automated machines harvested minerals and loaded them onto transport ships. A single alien destroyer stood guard, lazy and unconcerned. Why would they worry? Earth was broken. Earth was beaten. Commander Na's ghost ship drifted closer. The alien sensors passed right over her. Did not see, did not notice. She positioned herself directly beneath the destroyer, so close she could see the hull plating. "Fire," she whispered. The plasma cannons spoke. They tore through the destroyer's belly like paper. The ship came apart in a brilliant flash. Before the explosion finished, Na was already moving toward the mining facility. Her weapons cut through automated defenses like a knife through water. When she was done, there was nothing left. No facility, no ships, no witnesses. Na returned to Earth like a ghost returning to its grave. Silent, unseen, deadly. "It worked," she reported to Han. "They never knew what hit them." More ghost ships followed. More strikes. More alien facilities destroyed in the outer solar system. The enemy's supply lines bled. Their mining operations failed. Their transport ships simply disappeared. And still the aliens did not understand. They thought it was accidents, equipment failure, perhaps rebels among their conquered species. It never occurred to them that Earth was responsible. How could primitive humans strike back? Impossible. Dr. Bora worked day and night on new weapons. She understood the alien technology now, understood it well enough to twist it, to corrupt it, to make it serve human purposes. I have developed something new, she told Han. I call it quantum shatter. It tears apart the molecular bonds that hold matter together. She demonstrated on a piece of alien hull plating. One moment it was solid. The next moment it was dust, scattered across the laboratory floor. How many can you make? Han asked. For you, as many as you need. Earth's fleet grew in hidden places, on the dark side of the moon, in hollowed-out asteroids, in orbit around Mars. Shipyards that did not exist 6 months ago now worked around the clock, building vessels of war. Captain Ho commanded the first human dreadnought. It was massive, bristling with weapons, armored with stolen alien technology. He named it Retribution. She is beautiful, Ho said, walking through the bridge. She is death. Intelligence reports came from Agent Sung, hidden deep in alien territory. He sent information about their worlds, their defenses, their schedules, and most importantly, he sent news that made Han's blood freeze. The aliens were coming back to Earth. They planned to finish what they started. In 3 months, a massive fleet would arrive to sterilize the planet completely. No more survivors, no more humans, just silence. Admiral brought the news to Han personally. We cannot withstand another attack like the first one, he said. Even with our new ships, we are not ready. Han studied the star maps on the wall of his command center. He looked at Earth, small and wounded. Then he looked at the alien empire's core systems, fat and comfortable and unprepared. Then we will not wait for them to come to us, Han said quietly. We will go to them. That is suicide, protested. We are outnumbered. They think we are broken, Han said. They think we are beaten. They think we will hide in our holes and wait for death. He turned to face and his eyes burned with cold fire. Let us show them how wrong they are. He activated the communications system. Every ship, every base, every soldier and pilot and engineer heard his words. People of Earth, Han said, the enemy struck us first. They killed billions. They thought we would surrender, but we are still here. We have learned from their technology. We have built ships. We have trained warriors. And now we will take the war to them. He paused, letting the words sink in. In 1 week we launch the fleet. We go to their worlds. We bring them the same terror they brought us. We show them that humanity does not break. We bend. We adapt. We evolve. And then we strike back. His final words echoed through every speaker. You struck Earth first. Now we are coming for you. The human fleet moved through space like shadows through water. 300 ships, each one built from anger and determination. They traveled in silence, running dark, using the quantum drives that Earth had stolen and improved. Commander Na led the Ghost Squadron, 50 vessels that barely existed in normal space. They were the tip of the spear, the silent killers that struck first and disappeared before anyone knew they were there. Their first target was a supply convoy in the border systems. 6 alien transport ships, fat and slow, carrying weapons and supplies to the front lines. They were guarded by 2 destroyers, but the guards were lazy. They had been at peace for centuries. They did not know how to watch for danger. Na's ghost ships materialized around the convoy like nightmares becoming real. The alien crews had seconds to realize something was wrong. Then they had no time at all. The ghost ships fired in perfect coordination. Plasma bolts tore through shields and hull. The transports exploded in brilliant flowers of fire. The destroyers tried to respond, but they were shooting at targets their sensors could not see. Their weapons fired at empty space while invisible ships cut them apart. 3 minutes. That was how long the battle lasted. When it was over, there was nothing left but debris and silence. The Ghost Squadron vanished back into the darkness, leaving no trace they had ever been there. That is 6 more off the board, Na reported back to Earth. No survivors. Agent Sung lived among the aliens now. His surgically altered face let him pass as one of the conquered species that served the Empire. He worked in a supply depot on the planet Prime, the alien capital world. He swept floors and loaded cargo and kept his eyes open. The aliens did not notice him. Why would they? He was just a slave doing slave work. But Sung saw everything. He saw the military schedules. He saw the patrol routes. He memorized security codes and defense patterns. And every week, he transmitted this information back to Earth using a hidden quantum communicator that Bora had designed. "They are getting worried," Sung reported in his latest message. "Convoys keep disappearing. Mining operations go silent. They are blaming they think we are rebelling again." This was perfect. Let them chase ghosts. Let them hunt their own subjects. Meanwhile, Earth prepared for bigger strikes. Captain led a squadron of fighters deep into enemy territory. Their mission was simple: raid an alien weapons depot and steal everything they could carry. It was dangerous, but everything was dangerous now. They came out of quantum space right on top of the depot, an asteroid facility guarded by automated defense systems. Fighters moved like dancers, weaving through defense fire that would have killed them 6 months ago. But they were not the same pilots who had flown against the first invasion. They were better now. Harder. Faster. "Team 1, take the left storage bay," ordered. "Team 2, with me on the right. We have 10 minutes before reinforcements arrive." The raid was smooth and professional. They blasted open the storage bays, used magnetic grapples to haul containers of weapons and technology into their cargo ships, and were gone before the alien response fleet arrived. By the time enemy reinforcements reached the depot, they found empty storage bays and confused automated systems. Back on Earth, Engineer Haywon opened the stolen containers like a child opening presents. Each one held treasures, new weapons, new technology, new secrets to unlock. "These power cells are incredible," she said, holding one up to the light. "Twice as efficient as what we have been using. And look at this targeting system. We can adapt this to our missiles." Every raid made Earth stronger. Every stolen piece of technology was improved and turned against its creators. The aliens built an empire on their advanced science. Now that science was humanity's weapon. Captain Ho commanded the dreadnought Retribution as it prowled the outer systems. His ship was not stealthy like the Ghost Squadron. Retribution was meant to be seen, meant to inspire fear. And when Ho found an alien battle group, he showed them why. The alien commander saw the human dreadnought and laughed. 1 ship against 5. This would be easy. He sent all 5 of his warships forward to crush the primitive vessel. Ho waited until they were close. Then he unleashed everything. The quantum shatter weapons that Bora had designed struck first. They did not explode. They simply unmade matter, turning solid ships into clouds of atoms. 2 alien warships ceased to exist in the space between heartbeats. The remaining 3 tried to retreat, but Retribution was faster than she looked. Ho pursued them like a wolf chasing deer. His plasma cannons, improved by Haywon's engineering, punched through alien shields as if they were not there. One by one, the enemy ships died. "Send a message to the debris," Ho ordered. "Tell them Captain Ho was here." But this time, 1 alien escape pod survived. 1 witness made it away. And that witness carried a message back to the Empire that changed everything. The high command of the alien empire met in their great hall on Prime. For the first time in 800 years, they were afraid. "It cannot be the Earth species," Grand Imperator Or insisted. "We crushed them. We killed billions of them. They should be extinct by now." "The evidence suggests otherwise," his military advisor said carefully. "The ships that destroyed Battle Group 7 match descriptions of vessels seen in the Sol system. And the tactics, they are human tactics. Hit and run, strike from darkness, unconventional warfare." "Impossible," Or said, but his voice was uncertain now. They pulled up footage from the surviving escape pod. There on the was Captain Ho's dreadnought, massive and terrible and undeniably human in design. The camera caught the moment before a ghost ship destroyed the recording vessel. For just a second, they could see the shimmer of something that should not exist. "They have our technology," another advisor said quietly. "They have adapted it, improved it." "No," or shouted. "They are primitives. They have no right to this technology. They stole it. They are thieves and insects." "Insects that are winning," someone muttered. Or heard it, his face darkened with rage. "Prepare the fleet, all of it. We will return to Earth and finish this properly. No more mercy, no more warnings. We will burn their world to ash and scatter the ashes to the void." The War Council agreed. They would gather every ship, every soldier, every weapon. In 3 months, they would launch the largest attack fleet in the history of their empire. Earth would be deleted from existence. But Agent Sung heard about these plans. He sent the information to General Han immediately. Han sat in his command center, reading the intelligence report. 3 months until the alien fleet launched, and that fleet would outnumber Earth's forces 10-1. Even with all their advantages, even with their stolen technology, humanity could not win that fight. Unless they did not fight it on the aliens' terms. Admiral entered the command center. "We should prepare our defenses," he said. "Fortify Earth, make them pay for every inch of space." "No," Han said. He stood and walked to the star map. He pointed to the alien capital world, glowing in the center of their empire. "We will not wait for them to come to us again. We will strike their heart." "That is madness," protested. "There has defenses we cannot imagine. Orbital stations, planetary shields, thousands of ships." "All aimed outward," Han said. "They defend against external threats. They have never been attacked at home, not in 800 years. He smiled that cold smile that had learned to fear. "We will teach them what terror feels like." He opened a channel to every ship in the human fleet, to every pilot and soldier and engineer, to everyone who had survived the first attack and spent every day since preparing for revenge. "The enemy plans to destroy Earth in 3 months," Han said. "They gather their fleet. They prepare for extermination. They think we will wait for them like victims waiting for slaughter." He paused for effect. "They are wrong. In 2 weeks we launch. Not to defend, to attack. We go to their capital world. We bring war to their doorstep. We show them what they created when they struck Earth first." Across the fleet, soldiers and pilots felt something stir in their chests. It was not hope. Hope was too soft for what they had become. It was something harder, something that burned like cold fire. It was the promise of revenge. Han prepared his final message, the one he would send to the alien empire, the one that would make them understand what was coming. He recorded it carefully, choosing each word with precision. Then he transmitted it on every alien military frequency Agent Sung had provided. He made sure every ship, every station, every world in the Empire would receive it. The message was simple, just one sentence, but it carried the weight of 2.3 billion dead and 4 billion survivors who had learned to hate. "You struck Earth first, now we are coming for you." On Prime, Grand Imperator heard the message. He listened to the quiet, cold voice of the human general, and for the first time in his long life, he felt something he had never felt before. Fear. The human fleet emerged from quantum space directly above Prime. 300 ships appeared in the heart of the alien empire like death itself coming to call. For a moment, there was only silence. Then every alarm on the planet started screaming at once. General Han stood on the bridge of his flagship, Soul's Fury. He could see the alien below. It was beautiful, green and blue wrapped in white clouds, peaceful, untouched by war. 23 billion people on that world, Admiral said quietly beside him, mostly civilians. 2 billion died on Earth, Han replied. His voice was ice. Mostly civilians. He did not need to say more. They all remembered, the fire falling from the sky, the cities burning, the screaming that went on for days. They remembered and they would never forget. The alien home fleet scrambled to respond. Klaxons blared across military stations. Crews ran to their ships. Defense platforms powered up weapons, but they were slow. They had grown lazy over 8 centuries of peace. They did not know how to respond to sudden attack. Commander Nu's Ghost Squadron struck first, materializing among the orbital defense stations. The aliens could not see them, could not target them, could barely comprehend what was happening. One by one, the massive defense platforms exploded. Each explosion removed a piece from the aliens' protective shield. All ships, Han commanded, begin the assault. The human fleet moved as one. They had practiced this attack 100 times in simulations. Every pilot knew their role. Every ship knew its target. They flowed through the alien defenses like water through cracks. The alien home fleet outnumbered them 5-1. 500 warships against Earth's 300, but numbers meant nothing when the enemy could not coordinate. Lieutenant Mi sat at the tactical station on Sol's Fury. She was young, brilliant, and had spent 3 months studying every piece of intelligence Agent Sung had provided. She saw patterns others missed, connections others did not notice. "General," she said suddenly, "the communication hub, that orbital station at coordinates 479, it is the central relay for their entire fleet. Take it out and they cannot coordinate their forces." Han looked at the tactical display. The hub was massive, heavily defended, deep in the enemy formation. Getting to it would cost ships, cost lives. "Captain," he said into the comm, "I have a mission for you." Led a squadron of 30 fighters. They were the best pilots humanity had. Each one had survived dozens of battles. Each one had learned to fly like demons, to do things that broke physics and common sense. "Understood," General replied. "We will clear a path." Her fighters dove into the alien fleet formation. They flew between warships under weapons fire, through explosions that should have killed them. The aliens tried to track them, but pilots moved too fast, too unpredictably. They were chaos given form. Behind them came Captain Ho's dreadnought Retribution. The massive ship plowed through the alien lines like a battering ram. Ho's quantum shatter weapons carved holes in enemy ships. His plasma cannons fired non-stop. Nothing could stand before him. "Almost there," reported. Her voice was calm despite flying through hell. 30 seconds to the hub. Then Dr. Bora's voice crackled across all channels from Earth. "General, I am activating the quantum cascade." The quantum cascade was Bora's masterpiece, a weapon that exploited a fundamental flaw in alien shield technology. She had discovered that all their shields operated on the same quantum frequency. And if you hit that frequency with exactly the right pulse, every shield in range would collapse simultaneously. "Do it," Han ordered. On Earth in the mountain laboratory, Bora activated the massive device. It sent a pulse across space, traveling faster than light, invisible but devastating. The pulse washed over the alien fleet above there. Every alien shield flickered, wavered, died. For 10 seconds, every alien ship was vulnerable. "Now," Han roared. The human fleet opened fire with everything they had. Missiles, plasma, quantum shatter weapons, energy beams, everything humanity had stolen, improved, and turned into instruments of revenge. Alien ships died by the dozens. They tried to restore their shields, but the quantum cascade had disrupted their generators. It would take minutes to reboot. They did not have minutes. Squadron reached the communication hub. The massive station tried to defend itself with point defense weapons, but without shields, it was helpless. Her fighters circled it like sharks around prey, pumping missile after missile into its hull. "I am going in," said. "Negative," Han ordered. "Pull back. Let Retribution finish it." "No time," replied. They are already rebooting. This has to end now. She knew what she had to do, had known from the moment she accepted this mission. Some battles could only be won with sacrifice. She had watched her entire squadron die in Seoul's burning sky. She had lived when they died, and she had never stopped feeling guilty about it. Until now. "It has been an honor," she said simply. Then she aimed her fighter at the hub's central core and pushed the throttle to maximum. "No," Han shouted, but it was too late. His fighter struck the hub traveling at nearly light speed. The impact released energy equivalent to a small nuclear weapon. The hub came apart in a spectacular explosion that lit up the space around it like a new sun. The alien fleet lost all coordination in an instant. Ships stopped receiving orders. Formation broke down. Confusion spread like poison. Captains made their own decisions, contradicting each other, getting in each other's way. Captain Ho pressed the advantage. Retribution plowed deeper into the alien formation, firing in all directions. Other human ships followed his lead. What had been a battle became a slaughter. On Prime, Grand Imperator watched his fleet die. He stood in his command center, surrounded by advisors who shouted suggestions he could not hear. All he could see was human ships tearing through his defenses. All he could think was, this should not be possible. "Activate the planet killer," he ordered. His military advisor turned pale. "Sir, that weapon has not been tested. It could destroy the entire planet." "Better we die than surrender to humans," or spat. "Activate it." The planet killer was the aliens' ultimate weapon. A device that could crack a planet's core, cause geological collapse, turn a world into an asteroid field. They had built it centuries ago but never used it, never needed it. Until now. Deep underground, in a military facility carved from bedrock, the planet killer began to power up. It would take 10 minutes to reach full charge. Then it would fire. And Prime, along with its 23 billion inhabitants, would die. Agent Sung heard about this through his network of informants. He immediately sent a message to Earth, but there was no time for reinforcements, no time for plans. If the weapon fired, millions of humans would die along with billions of aliens. The human fleet was too close to escape the blast. Sung made a decision. He gathered a small group of rebels who hated the Empire as much as Earth did. Together, they armed themselves with stolen weapons and headed for the facility. "We will probably die," Sung told them. "Then we die free," A replied. They fought their way through security checkpoints, leaving dead guards behind. Alarms blared. Response teams scrambled. But Sung and his rebels moved fast, driven by desperation. They reached the weapons control center with 3 minutes to spare. The massive device hummed with power, a mountain of crystal and metal that pulsed with deadly light. Engineer Haewon's voice crackled through Sung's hidden communicator. She had been listening to everything. "Sung, do not destroy it. Reverse the targeting." "What?" Sung shouted over the sound of weapons fire. Guards were closing in. "Reverse the targeting," Haewon repeated. "Make it fire at their military installations instead of the planet's core. Surgical strikes, not genocide." Sung ran to the control panel. His fingers flew over alien interfaces that he barely understood. The rebels held the door against incoming guards. Their weapons' fire echoed like thunder. 30 seconds, Sung said. He found the targeting system, changed coordinates, redirected the weapon's power. Instead of one massive blast, it would fire dozens of smaller beams, each one aimed at military bases, command centers, weapons factories, the things that made war possible. "Done," Sung gasped. The planet killer fired, not down into the planet's heart but across its surface. Beams of concentrated energy lanced out, striking military targets with surgical precision. Bases exploded. Weapons platforms disintegrated. The Empire's military infrastructure on there died in seconds. But the civilian areas were untouched. The cities, the schools, the homes. 23 billion people lived unaware how close they had come to extinction. Above the planet, the battle ended. The alien fleet was destroyed. Debris floated where warships once sailed. Human ships circled the planet like victorious predators, but they held their fire. General Han opened a channel to all alien frequencies. His face appeared on every screen across Prime. The people of the Empire's capital world saw their conqueror for the first time. He was not what they expected, not a monster, just a tired man with old eyes. "People of the Empire," Han said, "your leaders attacked Earth without provocation. They killed 2.3 billion innocent people in 3 days. They did this in your name." He paused, letting the words sink in. "We could do the same to you. We have the power. We have the right, but we will not. We are not you. We do not kill billions because it is convenient." He showed them footage then, the attack on Earth, the burning cities, the dead children, the desperate survivors. He made them watch what their empire had done. "Your leaders started this war," Han continued. "But it ends here. Your fleet is destroyed. Your military is crippled. You have lost." Across the planet, people watched in stunned silence. Many had not known about the attack on Earth. They had been told Earth was a rebel colony that needed punishment. They had believed the lies. Now they saw the truth, and the truth broke something inside their empire, something that could never be repaired. 3 years passed. The galaxy learned to breathe again. The empire was gone, not destroyed but transformed. The conquered worlds that had suffered under alien rule for centuries were free now. Some celebrated. Some did not know what to do with freedom. Some fell into chaos. But Earth was there to help, because that was what General Han decided humanity would be, not conquerors, not a new empire, but protectors. On Earth, the sky was visible again. Reconstruction moved slowly, but it moved. Cities rose from ashes. Green things grew in radiation-cleansed soil. Children played in sunlight, though many of them still flinched when shadows passed overhead. President stood in what used to be Seoul. The city was half rebuilt, a mixture of new construction and memorial spaces where nothing would ever be built again. She was Earth's first post-war leader, elected by people who wanted peace but remembered war. "We must decide what kind of power we will be," she said to her advisors. "We have the strongest military in this region of space. We have technology that rivals anyone's. We could rule if we wanted to." "Some people want exactly that," one advisor said. "They say we earned it with blood." "Blood does not give us the right to rule," President replied. "It gives us the responsibility to protect." That philosophy guided everything Earth did in the years after the war. They helped rebuild worlds the Empire had damaged. They shared technology with species that had been held back. They established defensive networks so no world would face attack alone and defenseless. But first, there was justice to address. The trial of Grand Imperator took place on neutral ground, a space station that belonged to no one and everyone. The courtroom was filled with representatives from dozens of species, all of them people who had suffered under the Empire's rule. Or stood in the dock, old and broken but still defiant. He looked at the humans who guarded him with contempt. "You have no right to judge me," he said. "We were the order that held the galaxy together." "You were the boot on our necks," a representative shouted. General Han. He stood before the court and spoke calmly, without anger, just stating facts. "The Empire attacked Earth without provocation," he said. "They killed 2.3 billion people in 72 hours. They did not target military installations. They targeted cities, hospitals, schools. They chose genocide." "We were bringing order," interrupted. "Your species was chaotic, divided, dangerous." "So you decided to kill us?" Han asked quietly. "That was your solution?" "It was necessary," insisted. Agent Sung next. He described what he had seen in the Empire, the conquered species living as slaves, the casual cruelty, the lies told to the Empire's own people about the wars they fought. Most citizens did not know what their military did in their name, Sung said. They were told we were rebels, criminals. They never saw the children dying in burning cities. Their leaders made sure of that. This revelation caused chaos in the courtroom, because if the people did not know, how guilty were they? And if they were not guilty, what did justice look like? The judges deliberated for 3 weeks. When they returned, their verdict was complex. Grand Imperator, or you are found guilty of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against sapient species. You will spend the rest of your life in prison. Or showed no emotion. He had expected death. Prison was almost insulting. But, the lead judge continued, we recognize that many citizens of the former empire were victims too. Victims of propaganda. Victims of leadership that lied to them. They will not be punished for crimes they did not know were being committed. This was controversial. Some species wanted revenge against everyone who had been part of the empire, but President stood firm. We cannot heal by creating more victims, she said. We must be better than what hurt us. The Terran coalition was born from these principles. It was not an empire. It had no emperor, no supreme ruler. Instead, it was an alliance of equals. Any species could join. Any world could have a voice. The only requirements were simple: no genocide, no slavery, no conquest. Admiral commanded the coalition's defensive fleet. She survived the attack on the communication hub, though her injuries took months to heal. Now she trained pilots from a dozen different species, teaching them the tactics that had won Earth's war. The key is flexibility, she told a class of young pilots. Your enemy expects you to follow rules, so break the rules, do the unexpected, survive long enough to win. Captain Ho led exploration missions now. His ship Retribution was refitted for science rather than war. He took crews of mixed species to unexplored regions, searching for new worlds and new friends rather than new enemies. Strange, he said to his first officer, unnamed. 3 years ago I wanted nothing but to kill. Now I just want to discover. War changes people, replied. Peace changes them back. Dr. Bora stopped designing weapons. Instead, she worked on the Quantum Beacon Network, a system of devices that would allow instant communication across light years. No more isolation. No more worlds being attacked without anyone knowing. If this had existed 3 years ago, she said to Engineer Haywan, Earth might have gotten help, might have warned others. We cannot change the past, Haywan replied, but we can protect the future. Commander Jin's Ghost Squadron became peacekeepers. They patrolled trade routes, stopped pirates, protected vulnerable worlds from raiders. They were ghosts still, but now they haunted criminals rather than enemies. Agent Sung returned to his real face. The surgeries were reversed, and he looked human again. He became Ambassador Sung, representing Earth in negotiations with former Empire worlds. His unique perspective, having lived as both human and made him invaluable. I understand both sides, he said during a difficult negotiation. I have been conqueror and conquered. Neither is as simple as we want to believe. Colonel trained defensive forces on worlds that had no military tradition. He taught farmers and merchants and teachers how to defend themselves if attackers came. I hope you never need this training, he told them. But hope is not a strategy, preparation is. The memorial stood in rebuilt Seoul, a massive wall of black stone, stretching for miles, with 2.3 billion names carved into it. Every person who died in the first attack, every life that was ended in those 3 terrible days. General Han visited it often. He would find his wife's name, his daughter's names. He would stand there for hours, silent, remembering. One day, President found him there. Do you ever regret it, she asked. The revenge, the war we fought. Han was quiet for a long time. I regret that it was necessary, he said finally. "But no, I do not regret fighting back. If we had not, humanity would be extinct. Sometimes the only choice is to fight or die." And now asked. "Now we make sure others do not face that choice alone," Han said. "We were alone when they attacked us. We survived by luck and desperation. Other species might not be so lucky. So we build alliances. We share technology. We create a galaxy where attack brings not victory but unified response." A message came through the quantum beacon network, a distress call from a distant system. A species called the were under attack from an aggressive neighbor. They were outnumbered, desperate. The message reached Earth within seconds rather than weeks. The Coalition Council met within the hour. Representatives from 20 species debated what to do. "We should help," the representative said. "That is what the coalition is for." "But we cannot police the entire galaxy," another argued. "We have our own rebuilding to do." General Han stood. He was older now, with more gray in his hair, but his voice still carried authority. 3 years ago, Earth was alone," he said. "We sent distress signals that no one heard. We faced extinction with no allies. We survived, but at terrible cost." He looked around the room at faces of different species, different worlds, united by common purpose. "They should not face what we faced. No one should. That is why we built this coalition, not to conquer, not to rule, but to ensure that when evil comes calling, it finds not victims but resistance, not isolation but unity." The vote was unanimous. The coalition fleet would respond. Admiral led the mission personally. 50 ships, mixed crews, representing the new order. They arrived in the system to find the attackers had expected easy victory. They found something else instead. The attackers fled after the first exchange. They had not expected resistance. They certainly had not expected a multi-species fleet appearing from nowhere to defend a world they had never heard of. They were saved, and they learned that in this new galaxy, aggression had consequences. On Earth, in his apartment in rebuilt Seoul, General Han stood on his balcony. He could see stars now. No smoke obscured them. No alien warships blocked the sky. Just stars, peaceful and distant. His comm device chimed. Another distress call, another species needing help. Han was old, tired. He had earned retirement 1,000 times over, but retirement could wait. "Prepare the fleet," he said into his comm. "We have work to do." Because that was what humanity had become. Not conquerors, not victims, but something better, something necessary. They were the ones who remembered being helpless, and they would make sure no one else felt that helplessness again. The alien empire struck Earth first, thinking it would be easy, thinking humans would break. They were wrong. Humanity did break, but broken things could be reforged, and what emerged from Earth's forges was not an empire of conquest, but an alliance of protection. The aliens had wanted to teach humanity a lesson about power. Instead, humanity taught the galaxy a lesson about resilience, adaptation, and the difference between ruling through fear and leading through courage. Years later, students across the galaxy would study what happened. They would learn about the species that was attacked without warning, the species that should have died, the species that instead learned, adapted, and fought back. They would learn about General Han's famous words, spoken to an empire that thought it could not be challenged. "You struck Earth first, now we are coming for you." Those words became a promise, not a threat, a promise that the strong would protect the weak, that attackers would face justice, that in this new galaxy no world would stand alone against darkness. And Earth kept that promise. One distress call at a time.